The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells, and today we are on chapter number 22 in the Emporium. If you remember, in chapter number 21 in Oxford Street, we had our protagonist, the Invisible Man, running away because he had suddenly and pretty quickly discovered the drawbacks of his invisibility. And if you remember, when the chapter had ended, we found the Invisible Man pretty much injured and pretty cold, and he did not even have a place to go. So what is this Emporium now? Let us see. So in chapter number 22 we have a list of characters: Dr. Kemp and Griffin. And why do we have the same characters again? Because as I told you, the story of the Invisible Man has been going on and he's just telling the whole tale from his own mouth. So this will go up till chapter number 23, and hence the same characters, Griffin, who is telling his story, and Dr. Kemp, who is the listener to the whole series of events. In this chapter, where we are talking of the Emporium, you will have to remember the name of the Emporium. But before that, let us see why this chapter is so important, even though the events are not much. See, we find Griffin in a bad state. We cannot deny that he is not in a bad state. See, he is hurt, he is injured, he is also lonely because there are no family and friends where he could go and take shelter, tell his problem, find a solution. There is just nobody for him. He is shelterless. He is also hungry. It is a really bad state. He has no place to go and nobody who would listen. Whenever we are in a problem, the first thing we need, or something that gives us some solace, is the fact that we can share our problems. So this is the kind of new life that Griffin has built for himself. This is not the life that God gave him. He of course had a family, he could have friends, he had a profession, he was a part of the society, but he never wanted that. He was not attached to that, and he wanted a different life. So this is the new life. The irony is, this is the new life that Griffin has given himself. And so this chapter is very important because it opens up the subconscious of the character of Griffin, and at the same time reveals the truth, the real face of society. So this chapter not only reveals the inner feelings of our character, our main character Griffin, but also the real truth, the real face of the society. He is lonely and nobody stops to care. He is in a modern city. If you remember, he is in London, a place which is teeming with people. There are so many people on the street that even if they push nothingness, they don't even stop to see whom they have pushed. This is the truth of the modern metros, the urban society, that people are so busy, they are rushing, they don't stop. It is teeming with people, yet he has nobody. And this person, he has nobody to tell his problems. Right now, he wants somebody. And here I would just want you to go back and contrast the city life with the life of a village or a small town like Iping. What is the difference? People are together. There are still friendships. There are still celebrations and mornings together. People have a community feeling, the feeling of being together in a society. There is love and there is interest in other people's problems. They love their neighbors, they love their village people, and that is why they share their problems. The feeling of, the sense of sharing is too much. This has to be contrasted with the busy and yet lonely life of the city. So Griffin in the city wanted somebody, and when he came to the town, he did not like the interference. So what an irony. See, what is the irony of the whole thing? That here the person is lonely and he wants somebody, and here when he comes to the village, people try to ask him, people try to know him, and he just drives people away. So Griffin, that is why in the beginning, and again when we do the character sketch of Griffin, we would want to ask this big question: is he really the villain? Or is society the real villain? Is society the real negativity? Who has created this man, the abnormal man, the criminal, from a genius student? And that is why this chapter is very important. It deals with the subconscious of our character. And let us see how this goes on, because there is an important sequence coming up. So first of all, let us talk of the Emporium. After running away from Oxford Street, Griffin goes, he finds a place called Omnium. Omniums is a large emporium with a number of departments under one roof. You can, maybe in today's parlance, you can say that it was like a mall with a number of departments dealing with different stuff under one roof. So it was a big emporium that he found, and here his plan was to get hold of clothing, money, so that he could go and get his books, and then find a place to stay and rest and plan his future. He still has maybe he still has some hopes that this invisibility will give him something. That is why he says, I wish to find a place and think of and plan my future, what I could do with this invisibility. So he goes and he enters this emporium. Of course he is invisible, and he just hides quietly until the place is closed. And after closing time, he gathers warm clothes, he eats food that he can find, and he also finds false noses over there, but he says I couldn't find any spectacles, and I also thought of wigs. So he found some things from here, and he thought of going, after the place opens, after the doors open, he would just quietly go out of the place, and he sleeps on warm mattresses. He takes good rest, and when he goes to sleep, there is a dream which occurs, and the author gives a detail of the dream that he has. And this is why I said this chapter is very important. This dream is important. It gives us a look into his subconscious, what is going on in his inner mind, what is going on in his inner self, what is he thinking which he is not saying. Maybe he does not even realize what is going on in his mind. That is what subconscious is, and we will do the dream in detail when we do the quotations just now. But okay, he goes to sleep, he has a dream. This dream we will come to again in a short time just now. And then in the morning he wakes up too late. When he wakes up, the store is already open, and he is spotted by a salesman, because he is wearing clothes. He is no longer invisible, he is wearing clothes. He is spotted by a salesman. They chase him, they call the police. To escape, in order to get out of the place, what does he do? He removes the clothing that he is wearing. He cannot take anything with him, nothing, not even the money, and becomes invisible. So he becomes invisible, and he is back to the street in the cold of January. Again and again I like to mention the time, because January has come, and in the month of Feb he will be in Iping, where we have found him when the novel began. So this is it for the chapter. And as I told you, in the quotations that we are going to do, that important dream sequence is going to be there. And before that, let us see the review of the chapter. A snowstorm rages in the streets of London. Griffin is in pitiable condition. He is in a very bad shape. He is vulnerable. He is in pain, and he is lonely. This loneliness is so important, because the time is such that he is suffering badly. He goes to Omnium, a big emporium selling all kinds of stuff under the same roof, takes clothing, money, wigs, etc., but falls asleep on the warm bedding and dreams. And I already said this dream is very important. He wakes up in the morning to find the store already open. The shop assistants spy an intruder. The police is called, but he escapes by removing the clothes. So he has removed the clothes so that he might escape. And what is the importance of the chapter? Griffin's dream is significant because it expresses his fears and his isolation. He remembers the grave of his father. He experiences the pain of not being seen or heard by anyone. It is his inner state of sadness and dissociation with the world. He feels completely out of touch with the world. This is the importance of the whole chapter. As I already told you, this is the subconscious of this man. This is the poor man is actually in a bad state, not only outside but also inside. Let us do the important quotations. There are 3 of them that we are going to do today. So you can pause your video here and open up chapter number 22 in the Emporium and find this quotation, please, and read it with me. So, last January, with the beginning of a snowstorm in the air about me, and if it settled on me, it would betray me, weary, cold, painful, inexpressibly wretched, and still but half convinced of my invisible quality, I began this new life to which I am committed. So he says the beginning of my invisibility was not good. This is the new life that I have begun. I had no refuge, no appliances, no human being in the whole world in whom I could confide. So his loneliness is so depressing. To have told my secret would have given me away. He says, how could I go to anybody and tell my secret? It would give me away. People would know my complete secret of invisibility. So he says, it would have made me a mere show and rarity of me. Nevertheless, I was half-minded to accost some passerby and throw myself upon his mercy. What a poor, lonely man he must be. He is thinking of going and talking to anybody, even a stranger. He thought that I could even share my feelings with a stranger. So badly does he want to talk to somebody. But I knew too clearly the terror and brutal cruelty my advance would evoke. He is so badly alone that he wants to go and talk to somebody, but he knows that this would bring more terror and maybe cruelty upon him. Then we have the second quotation. My idea, what was he thinking? My idea was to procure clothing to make myself a muffled but acceptable figure, to get money, and then to recover my books and parcels where they awaited me, take a lodging, he wanted to have a place, and elaborate plans for the complete realization of the advantages. He is still thinking of advantages my invisibility gave me, as I still imagined over my fellow men. So this is his plan of what to do after he goes to the Emporium. And then this is the most important quotation, the dream. The dream revealing his subconscious fears. And so I came around to the windy hillside. This is a dream. This is not, he is just sleeping on the warm bedding and he is dreaming. And so I came round to the windy hillside and the sniffing old clergyman mumbling, earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, at my father's open grave. So where has he gone to in his dream? In his dream he has come to the funeral ceremony of his father. You also, said a voice, and suddenly I was being forced towards the grave. I struggled, shouted, appealed to the mourners, but they continued stonily following the service. The old clergyman too never faltered, droning and sniffing through the ritual. What is happening in his dream? That first of all he sees the grave of his father, and then he sees that the people are pushing me into the grave, and he is shouting, but they are not listening. I realized I was invisible and inaudible. So in his dream also, why are people not listening to him? Because he is invisible and inaudible. People cannot see or hear him. That overwhelming forces had their grip upon me. I struggled in vain. I was forced over the brink. The coffin rang hollow as I fell upon it. He says, in my dream, I was shouting, but nobody was listening to me, and they pushed me into the grave. And the gravel came flying after me in spadefuls, and people are throwing mud to cover the grave. Nobody heeded me. What is the meaning of heeded? Nobody paid attention to him. Nobody was aware of me. So he is also being buried along with his father, but nobody knows why, because he is invisible and inaudible in the dream. I made convulsive struggles and awoke, and his dream is over when he has been buried along with his father. So in this dream, the invisible man is being buried in the grave of his father. Can you imagine what kind of a dream is this? What does it tell us? That he is not happy being invisible. It is as if he has been cut off from the society. People are not heeding him. He says, nobody heeded me. These lines are so important. He has been cut off from society. That is why nobody heeds or listens to him, and he had to become invisible because he did not feel a part of the society. This is a very, very important, as I told you earlier, a very important quotation, that dream sequence that tells us so much about the character of this man. Here you would like to again remind yourself of the earlier lecture, the introductory lecture, where we had talked of Griffin as the protagonist. He is neither the hero nor the villain. He is the protagonist of the chapter of the novel, because we feel sympathy for him in places, not every time, but in places like this dream sequence where he is telling us about his history of becoming invisible and what happened after that. It really makes us feel emotional, because really this man has suffered a lot. So this is it for chapter number 22. We will be going to the next chapter. Thank you.